Who are Desert Storm? Well, our sound system, we started off doing free parties in Glasgow, and then we just kind of moved on, and now we're kind of UK based. We do events in Manchester and Nottingham, and we do quite a lot of stuff for criminal justice bill. That's actually how we got involved in Bosnia. We had a sound system in one of the criminal justice rallies in '94, and this guy came running up to the cab and took my phone number in the middle of a riot, and then 2 weeks later he phoned up. And he said, do you want to go to Bosnia with your sound system? We've been there before, doing parties with aid convoys. We've been out there twice, last winter and this summer just there. And we're going back now on our own to try and get to Sarajevo this time. We've been to Tuzla and a few other places before, but we really want to get to Sarajevo and do something now. The ceasefire's in place. We've got some medical supplies and food and like cuddly toys and stuff like that. And we don't actually have a predetermined destination to take these, but we're just going to try and give them out when we get there, orphanages or wherever we come to. Well, there's the 3 DJs. That's me from Glasgow, Danny from Manchester, and James from Nottingham. Then we've got Simi coming. He's from Glasgow. He fixes all the electronic stuff. He's quite a strange character. Then we've got another strange character coming, Joe. He's Danny's friend from Manchester. And we've got Kerry, James's ex-girlfriend. She's coming.
How many sound systems go to war zones?
Driving to Sarajevo in the winter with a dodgy truck and almost no cash was probably not the most sensible thing to try and do. But after hearing about the ceasefire, we just had to get there and take part in the peace celebrations. So we packed up the truck with the sound system, as much aid as we could, and set off across Europe, playing fundraisers along the way.
We're in Vilac in a minute on the Austrian-Slovenian border. We're having problems last night, came up to the border, and basically they won't let us through without this form here. Now on this form here is a statistical value for all our equipment, and on here it says 4,300, which is true. Unfortunately, we have to pay 2,150 to get through the border, which we don't have. So, what we're now doing is falsifying documents to try and get across, and we're going to change it to something that we can afford, like 20p, and throw it at them.
Unbelievably, the forged documents got us through the border and into Slovenia. Desert Storm are used to overcoming obstacles. There's always a way of sorting it. However, our next problem was much more serious. The gearbox seized, and suddenly things were looking very grim. There's nothing we can do. We can't get home. We're stuck in a field in Slovenia, and the truck's going nowhere. It's not even going up the road. We're fucked. We're never going to get in Bosnia. We'll try and get a new gearbox sometime.
I mean, you listen to it. It's never coming back.
Can we not get a new gearbox here?
Well, that's a possibility, possibly. I mean,
We're going around in circles. We need to stop.
Okay, right, hang on a second. It's obvious, I think, what we need to do. We need to go and phone people.
Yeah, we need to
Phone Daft.
From wherever, you know what I mean?
The truck's just completely died. The gearbox has died its final death. And basically we're stuck in a field in Slovenia and not going anywhere. So what we're having to do is phone up DAF in Scotland and see if they've got a spare gearbox, and then we're going to have to fit it at the side of the road. We've got money, but it's all in England, in cash, in various places, you see. And I was wondering what's the possibility that Dad would put it on his visa.
Please translate this. Yeah, really, it's really big.
We set up our headquarters in the local village bar. Nobody ever stops in Prstranic, so word spread pretty quickly that a bunch of British DJs had arrived. Most of the village came to the bar to meet us, and we didn't have to buy a drink all night.
So we're all on the
Myself, I'm on with the barmaid.
James's dad's credit card had done the business in Scotland and our gearbox was now on its way. But in the meantime, Joe had been busy elsewhere.
The good news is we've got a gig tonight. Good. We've got to get out our equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a van. The bad news is they're not that keen on techno.
I spoke to you on the phone. Sure. And you are?
Mila.
Yeah, okay. Danny.
Groovy.
Dank.
Well.
Okay, we found the fucking problem, man.
But unfortunately, the voltage here is 220, which means everything's going to take a lot longer to come to operating temperature because there's not enough voltage. We're 20 volts down, which in AC is not a lot, but in these things, these are quite delicate things, you know. And I think it should be okay. You can use most stuff on 220 and 240, but I think it is 50 hertz.
You have the part? Oh, absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, now how do we get to you?
Yeah, breakdown lorry. Der Abschleppwagen. Der Abschleppwagen. No?
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
At last, we had the part. £1,000 worth of shiny new gearbox. The problem now was to fit it in the middle of a field without proper tools and in sub-zero temperatures. The gearbox had put us behind schedule, so we drove the next 2 days non-stop through Croatia to make up time. There were still no signs of the war, even though we were only a few hours away from the Bosnian border. Our next stop was at Split, where the UN had a transit camp housing 1,500 frustrated squaddies. We had heard that their Christmas party had been cancelled due to a punch-up, so we decided to throw a free party to try and cheer them up. Dobro jutro.
Dobro jutro.
Zašto
vi to snimate?
Govoriš engleski?
Nis.
Nee. It's nice. We do techno party, you know? You know, techno party, dance, etc. Musica.
Muzika.
Yeah, and we're just have a look, maybe. In here? Nemo? No. Maybe somewhere open, empty. Okay, right, well, ciao. You notice how unsmiling these people are? Really, really sad people. Impressive.
We're having a party.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Down there, just past those orange containers, we're building a venue.
Where is it?
Big piss up.
Just down there?
Yeah.
Looks like you're having a pretty bad time round here, though.
Yeah,
So you're going to do a party tonight? Party? What's Judy's tonight, mate?
Half 8 tonight, yeah?
Yeah.
Just down there
Until
with
the MPs. Yeah. Okay, see you later.
You got an address for like when I'm out of the army?
Sure.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers, man. Yeah. I'll do.
Yeah, Sandy.
Shit, isn't it? Oh, right, yeah. Excuse dress myself. Drop out.
So it's where we actually be doing it, down the bottom, is it?
Yeah, down the bottom somewhere.
Those good
We're trying to keep out of the way of the officers. Where's the officers' mess? On the side? Here.
Yes.
Because we just want to sort of keep out of the way a bit of the officers' mess, really.
You know what, Keith? They're not here. No, I'm not sorting the aid out. It's kind of dual mission. I'm looking for some washing powder. Bath and shower gel, that's no good. I'm looking for the magic mushroom that Keith stashed in one of his boxes of aid. It could be anywhere.
So it's down there, the building, like a makeshift venue. Do you reckon you'll come?
So that is it, that place, yeah?
Yeah, probably. What time's it on?
8:30.
This one looks good.
To be quite honest, I don't think you'll get far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not saying too much. If you find toiletries, Keith, pass them over here because this is a toiletries pile, yeah?
Try not to give lots of condoms to the kids at the refugee centre, you know?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I am actually sorting the aid out as well at this stage. I'm not just looking for the mushrooms.
I set them right at the bottom, you know, because
No, I think seriously, Keith, you are fucking... Kill you!
We made a nightclub, but we've now...
Nightclub, small one.
Yeah, only a small one. Small, underground. But apparently now all the soldiers are confined to base, which is a bit of a shame. But apparently they said they'll be coming out anyway, so they did last time.
Now but listen, that was plugged into tape, right? And when you press auxiliary, it shorts the tape input out. That's why you've got two channels on the one. Okay. Right. Now try it.
Apparently they've got the sniffer dogs out as well. Should be interesting. Sniff out the magic mushrooms for us.
It was a bit of a disaster, really. Only about 10 people turned up. The rest were all too scared of getting caught by the military cops.
the military police turned up, like 19-year-old lads. One of them looked like he was on fucking speed. And little torches. Seen any squaddies round here? Seen any squaddies round here? Really? Yeah. I said, no, mate.
I think we might have had slightly more than 10. But yeah, about 10.
Boy Blunder's done it again. Last night we were just packing up and getting all the stuff down, and we decided to move the truck, or rather I decided to move the truck in a bit of a drunken state. And as you can see from above, I've ripped all the springs out of the door. Everyone's in a bit of a pissed off mood really, and it's all my fault. And I think I've also broken my toe.
I don't know. Keith started kicking off at me last night, so don't you dare fucking say I told you so. But started to kick it off at me for saying I told you so, and I never said anything. But I could do, couldn't I?
Well, I mean, it worked okay as far as I'm concerned. It was fine. Apart from the door, of course, but I mean, the door's worked out okay in the end as well, because it's now fixed properly. You know, it's now actually working. I think we should break a few more things in the truck, and then we can fix them and they'll all be everything will be working great. No one will recognise this thing when it gets back.
And that's my bottle of vodka, if you don't mind, actually, Joe. That's what me and you lacking. Imagination, you know. Don't have no imagination. Oh, you say got no imagination. Any imagination you've got, I'll have 10 of them. Thanks very much. So he sold me 10 of them. Yeah, 50 Deutschmarks each, I think they were.
How much?
50. Didn't work though.
That's good knowing.
Bastard.
Tablets, were they? Or was it liquid?
8 tablets.
Imagination tablets, eh?
The Croatian coastline used to be a popular tourist destination, but after 4 years of war, holidaymakers were a bit thin on the ground. As we drove towards Bosnia, we started to see more signs of the war. It didn't matter that we'd encountered all this before on previous trips, it still takes a lot of getting used to.
Well, it's the most incredible garage I've ever been in. I think the guy that works here must get paid a hell of a lot of cash to work in a petrol station in a war zone. Not quite the job for me. You're not exactly sitting around reading the sun in here, are you? You're watching the skies for mortars. Well, here we are in Mostar. It's unbelievable we've arrived. This place is, well, it was beautiful, I mean it still is beautiful, but it's been pretty badly damaged, as you can see. The old bridge, which was, as far as I know, quite a symbol of the culture here. People came to visit it from all over Bosnia. If you were a man, to prove you're a man, you had to jump off the thing into the river. But unfortunately, Croats blew up all this area. I think at the beginning of the war, I'm not exactly sure, but they definitely blew it up, there's no doubt about that. What the Croats have done to this place is a crime, not just against the Bosnians, against all the people that would have come here and seen this place in its like total full glory and stuff. I think this place must have been absolutely beautiful before, and look at the state of it. I mean, who in their right minds would do this to such a amazing place? This isn't war, this is just like murder against the indigenous population. It's not soldiers fighting soldiers, it's, you know, destruction of heritage of the Croats too. I mean, it's their city as well, you know, and look what they've done to it.
People may ask, why take a sound system to a war zone? Well, we don't think that music's a luxury, we think it's an essential, yet it's always one of the first casualties of war. As the conflict drags on, the stress of living with the constant risk of death increases daily, building up like a pressure cooker. People need to forget the war and feel like normal human beings again, even if it's just for one night. How can anybody put a price on that?
We got to a place where it's called the Pac-Man route, it's a UN designated route that is the route to Tuzla. Now we were told earlier in Mostar that we could drive straight to Sarajevo, no problem. But we'd picked up a hitchhiker with this guy called CeeLo, and he said basically he didn't want to go that way because it's a Chetnik area, Serbian-held area. Because even though the war's stopped, there's still a lot of bad feeling. I was talking to a soldier before, and he was saying, yeah, all right, the I-4 say that the war's stopped, but really it's still going on. In pockets, things are still happening. So that's why we're doing this skirt around. Now, I've also picked up a load of soldiers with us who are currently hitching, which is going to help us get through every checkpoint we see, because basically no one's going to stop the soldiers. But we're doing all right, it's fun. We've got marijuana, so we're happy.
Hey, well, what's happening now? Well, we are on Mount Igman, that's for sure, and apparently this is a good bit of the road, the Dobro bit of the road, and it's going to get much worse as we get further on. And as we're going downhill, well, that should be interesting. See, I'm worried because everybody's in the back, you know. I feel responsible. There's a lot of people in this. There must be, what, 10 people? So if I fuck up, then I'm going to kill all these people, you know. Talk to this guy. What's that? What's happening, man? Yeah. Driver? Yeah. Papier. Papier, boy. Yeah. Passport. Against all odds, we've done it!
Look around Sarajevo, here we are.
We've only been here, I don't know what, a couple hours, 3 hours, something like that. So far we've managed to set up a gig in the radio, starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Radio VOR, not war, but VOR, or war, but spelled with an O, not an A. You know. And it's a young person's radio, so we're going to play on that. I'm going to tell them that we're going to drive around the city tomorrow playing music.
Ali kod nas je svirala tehno muzika, u Tudu su čak okupili 2000 ljudi, tamo svirali tehno muziku i ono što će se u nekih narednih sat.
Pretty hectic, even more hectic maybe than the last couple of convoys. Just the amount of the workload we've had to put up with. I think it's been quite a lot, really. I think everybody started to degenerate. Look at people starting to go a bit mad. I mean, look at him. He is not sane. Look at him.
Oh, hey.
Dista djeca, dista.
What have we got here? Let's have a look. Is it? Yeah, I think that's for you. Sorry it's a bit wet.
Hvala.
No, it's yours. Oh, how about this one?
Hvala. Ajde, nisi zaše barake, a šta ima već? Ali me da ti hvala.
Okay, soup.
Hey, soup, daj vamo soup.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti, vamo. Spaghetti.
Right, there's a large bag of oats here. Who wants those?
Here we see Sarajevo by day. We've been told actually not to park the truck. We had to park the truck on the other side of the street last night because no running water, so people just tend to throw the shit out the windows, as in shit.
How come we're in Serb territory? I mean, no one told me till we were here. Oh, by the way, we're sleeping in Serb territory today.
So we're in a Serbian's house who's had to split because of the war. It's a Serbian who fights in the Bosnian army, so obviously had to leave here. Going to work every morning, you know, could be a bit dangerous. Where are you off to? Oh, I'm off to the Bosnian army. Uniform on and all that. Packed lunch. Can't see it. So the neighbours were all Serbs. I don't know if that means they're Chetniks though. I don't think so.
Could be friendly Serbs.
Friendly Serbs, you know, maybe. I mean, it looks like they're in almost as much shit as the Muslim side. Okay, the place isn't quite as destroyed, but they don't have any water and stuff like that. So they've had probably just as much of a hard time out of it.
You can see this woman called Maya. She's got a Serbian father, a Bosnian mother. Caught between the two.
My father is Muslim, my mother is Serb. And one day, just somebody came here and said, you have to separate. You are Serbs, you are Croats, you are Muslims. I didn't think anything. I just thought it will pass soon. Anywhere it can happen, but not in Sarajevo. My father, the Serbs, took him and pushed them on lines to make barricades.
Yeah.
And the shell wounded him and destroyed him completely. Someone who lost everything, family, house, it's very hard to forget and forgive.
I don't really know that much about Sarajevo, apart from it was proud to be one of the most multi-ethnic cities in Bosnia. You had Serbs and Croats and Muslims all living side by side, and nobody gave a toss what Bosnian nationality everybody was. I think most of the serious shelling has stopped, but the sniping hasn't. I don't think anybody's that confident that the ceasefire is going to hold, but I think a lot of people are quite grateful for this break. I think people do appreciate the fact that we've come here for no profit motive, just to play, just because we know that music can make a difference. Or the fact that people are prepared to come all the way to Sarajevo to play music make a difference.
We drove around Sarajevo all afternoon playing music to publicise the party we were throwing in Club Oboler later. Some of the people looked a bit puzzled by it all. Club Oboler was packed and the people were desperate to dance. Oboler was the only club to stay open during the 3-year siege. It was the climax to our trip. We had brought what we did best in recognition of what they had been through and the need to forget about the war, if only for one night.
The United Nations was set up basically to say never again will the atrocities of the Second World War and the concentration camps happen in Europe. And they have. The number of people have been slaughtered, the number of people have been put in concentration camps, the torture and the rape that has gone on No one who's seen it is going to forget that.
Like that. So here's a great sound. Like that.